You have a site but need to expand to better serve your communities. Or you have a concept but need an actual site to make it a reality. What now? Welcome to part 3, Routes to Acquisition. One of the most challenging parts of social purpose real estate is acquiring space, land, or a building to develop your mission-driven project. In this video, we'll review the key variables you'll want to keep in mind when looking to acquire space to develop a project for social purpose, and examine methods used by leaders in the sector. Here are some of the approaches you might consider, and not all of these require a major investment in purchasing, developing, or operating a new building. Many organizations rent or lease the space in which they operate community and social services. This is an ideal approach for organizations that are new and just starting out, require flexibility, or don't want to take on the significant responsibility and risk of managing real estate. For others, owning and developing their own social purpose real estate is a critical strategy to advance their mission. Owning real estate provides security of tenure, the ability to tailor the facility to meet the organization's needs, and an asset that tends to appreciate over time. There are a few key routes to property ownership for social purpose organizations. First, an organization may own an existing site, building, or portfolio of property. Many social purpose and mission-driven organizations own the building or buildings that they operate out of as a legacy of their organization's history. Places of worship, shelters, theaters, community and cultural centers, and schools are examples of such organizations with significant land holdings that go back generations. Mission-driven organizations typically continue to provide critical services out of their legacy properties, but they may have fallen into disrepair or be underused relative to their potential as the community has grown around them. As such, these legacy properties have huge potential to be renovated or redeveloped to upgrade the facility and expand the amount of service that can be provided. For social purpose organizations that already own their own property, the key challenge is finding the money and the expertise to carry out their redevelopment or expansion projects. If you're not one of the lucky SPRE organizations that has a legacy property, the route to acquiring ownership in a social purpose property will be more difficult, or at least more costly. Purchasing property is another route to follow. Various nonprofit and government organizations are looking to purchase existing affordable rental housing, for example, to remove it from the private market where rapid cost escalations are taking place. For these organizations, a key barrier is having access to enough capital to buy a site or a building in a competitive real estate market. Purchasing property is not cheap. Governments in some jurisdictions have created affordable housing acquisition funds to support nonprofit providers, while there are credit unions and impact investors that will provide low-interest loans to support social purpose real estate acquisitions. In cases where a site or building is being purchased, the organization must have a business plan with sufficient cash flow to repay any initial borrowing and to cover the costs of any proposed renovations. Finally, even if an organization does not have access to the capital to purchase real estate, it may be able to undertake a creative mixed-use partnership. Social purpose spaces are elevated through partnerships, going beyond the idea of acquiring space on your own. You can partner with other mission-driven organizations. Churches are an example that have sometimes provided land at a discount or even at no cost for social purpose projects. These undertakings are often based on long-term relationships built on trust. Whatever route works best for your organization, you should clearly communicate your organization's needs, capacity, and objectives in acquiring a new space. A great place to start is by completing a space assessment, which will support future conversations that you might have with potential partners. A part of this process will be identifying the most ideal location or locations for your project, ensuring that you're able to secure a site that is accessible for the community members who will be using it most. Your financial and organizational capacity will dictate what growth you can realistically aim for. As with any big decision, it's important to take the time to assess your abilities and evaluate the overall support for development, both internally and externally, before moving forward. Once you're confident that you are able to go through this process, it's time to move to the next step and start developing your concept from vision to reality. Check out the next video in this series where we discuss this in more detail.